I like to start off with acknowledging the traditional custodians of this land to hold this event today, and okay. Dear society that wants to listen, I feel as though our world is falling apart, drifting off into space, with our people going with it, unable to fight gravity to go back down to what's left of real humanity. My little brain hasn't rested in years, worrying about those being taken away. My heart breaking as I walk down our school corridors and no one is there. Distant screams, but not listened to or heard. I hear you. I grieve and I rage, those that feel they can't come back down to earth where they can be themselves, manipulated by the expectations of society. I scream at the top of my lungs, I'm here, see me, but no response. You're too far up to even have a glance of who I am, to even try. Just shoved away in the corner, lonely in the reality of today. What has happened? Communities almost non-existent, families breaking, grieving. What is happening to us? How can I fix this? How can I undo what this virtual world has done to our society? And more importantly, young people. That was a poem that I wrote at the start of this year to express how I feel as a teenager living in a world where social media exists. Now, I have some groundbreaking news. I was raised on another planet, and guess what? So was the rest of my generation. When we turned 10, a visionary billionaire who we've never met selected us for an important mission, to be a part of the first human settlement on Mars. Excited by the idea and the fact that all of our friends were doing it too, we eagerly signed up. But life on Mars isn't what we expected. The air is thin, the environment is harsh, and after time, we start to feel isolated and trapped. This was a metaphor used by the author Jonathan Haidt in the book The Anxious Generation, and describes the very topic I'll be speaking about today. The future of our society depends on everyone knowing that social media has caused an explosion of mental health issues, such as addiction, anxiety, and loneliness, negatively impacting on young people. The anxious generation, that's what we're being called. Being raised on Mars, another planet, also known as social media. But is this the life that we want? How did we get here? And more importantly, how do we escape, and do we want to? Before I go any further, my name is Moser. I'm 16 years old, a senior student at Tenbury Mountain State High School, and I believe that many of you will relate to this topic, whether it be you, your child, or just someone you know. This issue surrounds us. This is not a speech of judgment, it is about raising awareness. Social isolation and loneliness are two major problems for young people, causing social development delays affecting our entire life. We teens spend an average of 7.5 hours on our phone each day. Some of you will be thinking, so what, right? Well, think about it like this. It adds up to 47% of your year spent on a phone, or 3.3 days per week staring at a screen, forcing young people's brains to be underdeveloped and rewired, creating a generation of Martians. We always make the argument that social media allows us to stay connected with others. Yet, since the year social media came out, loneliness levels have doubled in Australia for young people. Sure, we have hundreds of friends on social media, but how many of them do we actually talk to on planet Earth? This applies to parents too, who are supposed to be our role models, causing a disconnection in the home. Parents, we need you. Our future children need you. And I'm not saying that this is all your fault, because the last thing you want for your kids is to feel isolated and lonely and excluded. And the expectations of society make it so hard to say that simple word no to these platforms. Anxiety and depression rates for young people have exploded since social media was introduced, causing mass amounts of grief and harm. Emergency room visits for self-harm for girls has increased by 188% and 48% for boys since 2010. Social media was introduced in 2009. That can't be a coincidence. Not only are we teens struggling, but it is causing mass amounts of stress, overwhelm, and helplessness within families and communities as well. These are all just numbers. There are so many anecdotes out there to support this evidence, but some being really extreme. But I thought I'd share with you a story about my friend named Rose. One day, I was shown a video from her TikTok account by another one of my friends. She posted POV, every guy's type, and posted a bunch of photos of really perfect, pretty influencers. Then she posted a photo of herself and said, "Then there's me," referencing that she's not any guy's type. These perfect influencers, most likely with beauty filters on, behind these teenage girls' screens, are making girls feel horrible about their bodies. Instagram only just recently announced that they are cutting all content that is over the rating of PG for ages 13 to 18, in hope that they can improve their platform before this big social media ban. And I thought to myself, well, that's not going to work. Because what about all those innocent videos of girls just posting about their looks and their makeup? That's what's causing the anxiety and depression for us. Us teenagers have 3 selves to manage. 1, we choose to show the world. 1, we keep for ourselves. And now our online brand. And teens usually prioritize their online brand over their real self. This is so exhausting, overwhelming, and complex. We are living in constant stress. Suicide rates for young adolescent boys has increased by 91% and 167% for girls since 2010. Take a second to let that sink in. It is the leading cause of death for young people in Australia. This is urgent and we need to act now. We need to do everything that we can to understand why young people need social media so much and create solutions. We must understand that while the impacts of social media directly affect young people, there are flow-on effects to families and communities as well. Okay, so now you've heard all about what it's like life online. Let me tell you a bit about my experiences of life offline. I've grown up without social media, and I did not get a smartphone until I was in year 10. So that isolation and loneliness and exclusion that you're all scared that your kids will experience if you say no to these platforms, well, standing here right in front of you is someone who's experienced that and is still currently living a life without social media. Let me tell you a little bit about my childhood first. I moved from Beenleigh to Tamborine Village when I was 5 years old. Day 1, I was already bugging my dad to go and take me to meet the neighbours, with both sides having kids. Any kid's dream, right? But to my absolute disbelief, no one knew each other. So, of course, little me decided to gather everyone in the neighbourhood and create a gang called the Arrowhead Gang of about 12 kids. Now, I know what you're all thinking. This is not a gang of committing crimes. It is the ultimate play gang. Riding our bikes everywhere, down dirt tracks, taking risks, building bases, playing wars, and so much more. And the best part is, adult-free. And, look at me, I'm still alive. I had so much fun that my parents got rid of our TV because we didn't use it. However, as my friends started getting older and smartphones and social media started to creep in, I noticed their mental health declining, caring more about how they looked, what's in trend, and what they said, and rarely coming outside. Every time that we would come across a disagreement in a game or anything like that, they would just give up and leave and go back to their screens. I was left, the only one, down to earth, feeling lonely, isolated, and worried. I came home to my parents at the start of this year with the perfect way to express how I feel without social media. I feel like I don't exist. If you don't have social media, you don't exist. If I don't have Instagram posting about my life and my hobbies and my interests, no one knows or cares who I am. I downloaded Instagram when I turned 16, just after I turned 16, in the hope that this would all change. But it took a bit of courage because I knew all the stats and the facts and how you can be consumed by it, and I wanted to come back. And that's exactly what happened. Within weeks, my attention span was waning. My screen usage went from 1 hour to 3 hours, and that's just with one platform. I also found myself comparing myself to everyone's looks and their lives, wishing that I had them. I was on a hike with my friends one day, and the first thing that I thought about was, oh my goodness, I need to get a photo of this for my Instagram story. This was a wake-up call. It was invading my life, rarely having a thought without Instagram involved. So, after a month, I made myself delete it, and I felt grounded within days. I also recently tried Snapchat because, again, I felt excluded, but this time was different. I knew that I could take myself away from it if I felt myself being consumed by it again. I deleted it within 24 hours. I could not sleep that night. My brain was up all night thinking about the conversations had, the snaps sent, and only in this small amount of time. These platforms take over your brain. The constant bings and quick messaging, not allowing us to stay connected in what's happening around us in reality. Social media has collided like an asteroid, knocking Earth off its social axis, altering the future of our generations. Now a generation raised on addiction, anxiety, and loneliness as a foundation, this is harmfully rewiring our brains. The change that needs to happen starts with spreading awareness. If we don't, we risk even more long-lasting damage to our well-being, leaving us stuck in this virtual world with no way out. But for now, I have a lesson for you. I have a challenge for you all. Do you think that you could just do 3 days without social media? What would you replace your time with? For me, it's going out and having really cool adventures outside, which I did have up there, but it's gone now, with my scouting community and my amazing dad. So we need to this is how change happens. We need to work together to get our generation back down to earth.